Hi, it's Michael Trigg here, the Presentation Maestro. And this question that I'm answering is, the hardest part of any presentation is the beginning. Any tips on making this easier or more impactful? And yes, I have, as you might imagine. And a little story to begin with. There was a great British conductor called Sir Thomas Beecham of the mid-early 20th century. And he was a right wit and a wag. But he once said the two most important things for an orchestra are to begin together and to end together. He said what happens in between doesn't really matter very much. Well, hugely tongue-in-cheek. But he had a point about the beginning. Not that we should start together, but the beginning is a really important part. Because that's where you set the scene. That's where you build rapport with an audience. And my tip would be to have a good introduction in your brain, a little template. And the one I show people is you start with a greeting, hello there everybody. Then you start with something called the funnel. And if you get my app, Ovation, which is free, I demonstrate this several times. But if you haven't got it, let me do one now. What am I looking at? I'm looking at a tripod. Okay, so a funnel to talking about tripods is, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Now, you see a lot of people wandering around with selfie sticks, holding their iPhone out in front of them, etc. But if you want to make a really good video or photograph, you need the camera much more stable than that. And you can lean it against a book, you can stick it against a pot of flowers, but probably the best and most stable way of doing that is choosing the right tripod for you. And that's what I want to talk about today. So that is something I call the funnel. It just leads you into what you want to talk about. Then you mention the subject, which is tripods in this case. Then and only then do I suggest you introduce yourself. Hi, I'm Michael Trigg. I've been using cameras and tripods now for the last 10 years, and so I want to share what I've learnt and the failures I made with you. And then you come to the purpose of the talk. And phrase it like this. The purpose of the next 10 minutes is to let you know some of the pitfalls that are going with both using a tripod also and buying one in the first place, so that you don't make the mistakes and waste the money that I've wasted over the years. Just let the helicopter go. So far we've funneled them in, we've got a subject, you've told them who you are, you've given them a purpose, and now finally you finish with your agenda. And there's three things I want to address with this. Firstly, why a tripod as opposed to using anything else? Secondly, the sort of mistakes and pain you can cause yourself if you use a tripod badly. And thirdly, things to look for when buying a tripod for you and your particular camera. So that's the template. And you'll find it in my book, Blow Your Own Horn. I demonstrate it on my app, Ovation. So there's plenty of resources out there for you to see how this works. But if you get something like that into your head, practice it a little. So when you start off, bang, the first part of the talk is just done, and everything else largely is plain sailing. Hope you found that useful, how to make your beginning a little easier and more impactful, and I'll see you on the next one.